Hey everyone, how's it going? I am iamxeracon here, and I am back with another video. Now, yesterday, at the end of my Tokyo video, um, I mentioned that I would probably have a E3 2017 video for today, except I put in question marks because I wasn't sure if I would actually do it or not. But here I am, uh, sticking to my word and making this E3 2017 video. Um, and, it's actually been a while since I've done something like this. Well, and by this, I mean my usual type of video. I mean, the last, 12 videos have just been me either in Tokyo or the last video, for example, just sitting here back and talking about Tokyo. Um, so yeah, I'm back. Everything's normal again, for the most part. And the C3 has been rather, I guess you could say, interesting um, and stuff. But one thing I wanted to do was also compare my original sort of predictions and thoughts about what could happen at E3, and then comparing it to what actually did happen. So with Sony, there were rumors about PS5. I didn't think it was going to happen, but it ended up they didn't mention anything about PS5. So good on them for that because you would have been alienating your fan base. God of War, knew that was going to happen. It happened. Spider-Man happened. PSVR stuff, I wasn't sure if they would do stuff, but they did end up doing a lot of PSVR stuff. A lot of it was pointless and stupid, but they did it. Last of Us 2, thought that would be something, a big heavy hitter for E3. They didn't announce it. I'm not sure why. But yeah. Until Dawn 2, I thought something that, has potential to be there. I mean, it's not gonna, be a big game changer, but it'll be a nice little thing they do, but they didn't have that there. Microsoft, they announced the Scorpio. Well, of course, they announced the Scorpio, but now we know it's Xbox One X and not just Scorpio. Um, so, of course, more powerful console, plays 4K, I think 30 frames, though, 30 FPS. Uh, I don't think they said 60 FPS. I think it was 4K, 30 FPS. Which I guess to some people will be a huge, uh, huge, mm, painful, sting to them. But yeah, games. There were some timed exclusives, some strip exclusives. A lot of indie games were mentioned, which, you know, I mean, of course, they showcase some major third-party games that are going to be on there. However, um, you know, it's nothing. The indie games, aren't going to be anything big or anything, or that'll help sell this X. Um, I mean, if it were Nintendo, they would be doomed. I mean, seriously, I was actually concerned about Nintendo for the past couple of months because I kept hearing news about new indie games coming to the Switch, and I'm like, Nintendo Switch doesn't need indie games. It needs no actual third party. Not that I have anything wrong against indie games. Indie games are good. I mean, heck, I helped to crowdfund Bloodstain, Ritual of the Night, and I was even sort of like talking about Eternal Blade 2, which is an indie game, but it's not just your standard indie game. And what I mean by that is like you have your simple indie games that are, I guess you could say. I mean, you could say this about larger games as well, but they're pretty much cut and dry. Like you have your sort of shooter indie games, like your 2D sort of like retro games, and the market sort of become oversaturated with these types of indie games. But an indie game that goes a little bit beyond, which sort of almost makes you want to question if it would be like uh instead of like a triple A. I mean, it's not a triple A, but like a double A. Now we're talking about batteries here. But something that makes it stand out and like actually catches the attention of people instead of some mediocre indie game, or a subpar indie game. Those are the type of indie games, that are beneficial to the gaming industry instead of you're just, copy and paste type of indie game, something which, would be considered just shovelware. Um, Also, yes, my window is open because it's cooler than it was yesterday, but it's still warm, so you'll try to stay cool and whatnot. Um, But yeah, so you might still hear some cars going by. Right now, I think that's the mailman going across the other side of the street. Um, and yeah, so you'll hear wind and stuff. But, back to that. Uh, they didn't announce Halo 6, which we already knew about, that was coming. I thought potentially because of the fact that the One X is going to be more powerful uh, than the regular Xbox One and One S. That's gonna be a bit difficult to say in the future. One S and One X. I mean, you could really confuse confuse your consumers with that. Saying, "Oh, an Xbox One X." Your parents accidentally get you an Xbox One S. That would be a bit confusing. But I thought they could bring Scalebound, but they didn't. I mean, I didn't think it would for certain be there, but I thought it's something, it could potentially be there, but they didn't have that. Now I know that they have Crackdown 3. I don't know too much about that, um, but I think it's supposed to be one of their Microsoft's big games. So there's that. Now here's something that I thought was noteworthy and quite interesting to see was they have a 3D platformer called Super Lucky's Tale coming to the Xbox. I mean, this is going to be for all of them, and that's something which also is a is something that is a shame that the Xbox One X isn't getting any exclusives for that console. I mean, it's going to be for all the Xbox Ones, the entire Xbox One family, and it's not getting anything that can really, you know, set itself above the rest because sure you're getting better graphics and visuals and stuff, and you get more power, but if you have an Xbox One S, uh, there's no need for you to upgrade really. There's really no reason. There aren't any games there for you to justify uh, paying for. I mean, yeah, it's $500 and it's cheaper than I think was it the PS3 or PS4 that came out because I know it costs more than $500. But there's no way I am getting an Xbox One X. And I mean, I don't think I'm gonna be getting an Xbox in general, but just no way, no way. That's just. I mean, yeah, it's cheaper than a lot of people thought. Some people were saying like $600, maybe 700, but still, no way. um, but yeah, Super Lucky's Tale is a 3D platformer. Um, yeah, I thought it was interesting because of the fact that it's released. Well, initially when I heard about it starts releasing uh, towards the end of 2017. And what other 3D platforming game is coming out around that time? Super Mario Odyssey. And so I was thinking to myself, Microsoft's putting out this. This is a exclusive for Xbox games. I think it's by Microsoft. Um, Putting out a new IP of a platform game around the same time, a well-established and also very a very large, very it's an installed game. It has a large install base, and it's something that people are craving for right now. Super Mario Odyssey, and you have it coming out the same time as that game. That's just a recipe for failure right there. I mean, yeah, you could say, parents like buy your kid an Xbox, and you don't want them to play mature rated games. That's fine. That is great. That I have no problem with that at all. And that's good for parents that actually do that. That don't just buy their kids like Call of Duty, and they're like what 9, 10. Good on them. Um, and so you get them Super Lucky's Tale. But the general Xbox community, they're not gonna go out and buy Super Lucky's Tale. They're just not. I mean, now granted, I I think it was yesterday I checked this out. Well, I mean, first I heard about Memorial coming out in October and not just the general December 31st, which games which don't have release dates are normally put out uh, December 30th or 31st when we don't know the release dates. Um, but now it's confirmed to come out in October, and Super Lucky Sales actually come out 1 month later in November. However, it's still within this same general period. You're getting ready for that time, right? Right before Christmas and stuff, where that's when you like buy these games. It's the sales will just not be there. People really want Super Mario uh, Odyssey since it's a big return to Super Mario 64, which is what a lot of people consider to be the best 3D Mario game, and some might even say it's the best Mario game in general. So there's that. Like I said, it's also half the price of Super Mario Odyssey, which is $60, and Super Lux Tale is $30. So it's not like Microsoft's going out on a loss with this one. It's interesting here, but like I said, just an interesting fact. But back to other stuff I was talking about. Nintendo. Uh, we didn't hear anything about the online info. I mean, we got some tidbits, like the pricing. It's gonna be, what, I think it was $20 for a whole year, and then you can also pay for a smaller fee for like, I think, was it $6 for 3 months, and then $2 for a month. I think maybe for the services. Then other tidbits or something like that we heard about, but nothing so far. And also, the free online is pushed is pushed no, not pushed back, but pushed forward. So you so you pay starting in 2018 instead of the fall of this year, which is pretty nice. I mean, maybe they'll give us more details. I thought they would have some details here at an E3, but they didn't, so that's fine. I thought if they were going to do something official with Rainware app, they would do it. They didn't, but Rainware has said that they're gonna have the app up and ready for, I think, for the beta starting this fall. Um, and so far, this looks like right now they're still waiting for a Nintendo, and I really don't know what. I mean, I really don't think that Nintendo will do well with the stream rack. And to be honest, I don't even get the idea of the stream rack in the first place. Now, it's so that you can play games on pretty much anything. Like they even said play it on your phone or tablet. Which is a pretty cool concept because first thought it was just gonna be at first they promoted this specifically for the Switch, but then after I think the past days it's like promoting it for everything, every console, tablet, phone, you name it. But the problem is your computer needs to be able to, I think, be able to run DirectX 11 or something like that, and it just begs the question: why get this app to play Steam games on another device when you can just play it directly on your laptop or computer or whatever or gaming PC that you have? I mean, it doesn't make sense at all. I mean, because you need a computer in order to play the games. If you're gonna say, okay, well, I mean, because you're streaming it, but still, I'm like, if your PC can run the games, what's the point of like streaming it to another console and having all this lag going on? It makes no sense at all. And also the fact, is that and by doing this, I mean, a lot of these, I mean, sure, you could say, like, Steam exclusive games and stuff like that, but a lot of these, like, big party AAA games, they're already coming out for other consoles. So, like, if you have an Xbox One, Xbox, or, yeah, because don't you even have, like, Direct, or maybe it doesn't have Steam, but aren't there ways you can, like, transfer your PC games to your Xbox One and then vice versa? It makes no sense at all to me, for Microsoft, and then, like, other triple A games, third party, you know, those big games are coming to the PS4 anyway, so what's the point? And I mean, and then yeah, you could say, well, Nintendo, doesn't isn't aren't it sounds like getting these games, but once Nintendo has an install base that's large enough, then AAA's will start supporting it, start supporting the Switch, and but then by not bringing these games over, people like not. It's like people are gonna be buying these games on Steam when they're cheaper, and Nintendo's not be making any money off of this app or these games whatsoever. And I'm just scratching my head like, this is a horrible idea, especially if Nintendo goes through with it, because they're going to be losing a lot of money. Because why buy these games specifically for your console? Going to the store, buying out, a copy of the game, or going to the Nintendo eShop, buying the game, when go to a different company, give them my money, and Nintendo, you get nothing of it. But hey, I can play the game on your console. Just doesn't make any sense at all. Just doesn't. Um, Super Mario Odyssey, we already knew that was going to come. Fire Emblem Warriors, they show off more stuff about that. I'm a bit disappointed that they only showed uh, Marth and then pretty much characters that were from Fates and Awakening. I thought they would have done some more other games. Maybe even Gaiden, or as it's now known as Echoes, Shadows of Valencia. But because I mean, yeah, it's more appealing to the new install base who are starting these games now, like myself, because I I mean, I've heard of Fire Emblem for a while, and I think the first Fire Emblem game on Game Boy Advance. No, this was when I got my Game Boy Advance SP, and it had like a little booklet of like games that were coming out and stuff, and they were talking about that, and they had Fire Emblem. I thought this game looks pretty interesting, and that's the one which had Lyn in it. Uh, so I mean, I didn't know who Lyn was back then, but now she's a popular character in the Fire Emblem uh, series, and so I was just thinking to myself, yeah, that looks like a good game. Never got it, but I knew about Fire Emblem. Whereas now it's like after Awakening, boom, it's like Fire Emblem craze. Now, granted, I will admit that Fire Emblem Awakening helped save the series, and it helped introduce people or helped bring people into it who never played it before. Like I had a friend, he never played Fire Emblem before. He bought Awakening. I started Fire Emblem with Fates. Yes, you can make fun of me for that. But I still want to go back to the older games, and look at what they did. Because I looking at different places that are selling stuff, like selling the Fire Emblem for the game the for the Game Boy Advance line I just mentioned, Path of Radiance. I think that was for GameCube, or I think of a different one. Because there was one for GameCube and one for the Wii. Both of them, I was considering getting. And then, even I know there are some reproduction cards of the older, like Super Famicom, and some Famicom games that were, uh, brought over. And also, the DS Shadow Dragon uh, remake. I'm considering getting that one as well. So talk about these older ones. Now, yes, um, they're they didn't mention all the characters yet, so there are more characters that can be announced and stuff. And of course, they're most likely gonna have DLC, which DLC. Um, but still, it's just that you only have just like these popular characters, not going into the root of things, with your original characters, cast, series, whatever, that stuff. Man, I am talking about this stuff for far too much long. Need to hurry up. Okay, so Splatoon 2, yeah, knew it was coming. Pokemon, I didn't know what was gonna happen. In fact, it was even before they had that special Pokemon announcement. And they have Ultra Sun and Moon now. Pokemon Tournament Deluxe, which I'm not surprised about. And then, of course, we are getting a core Pokemon game for the Switch. It's in development now. I am happy about that. I'm happy about that. To be honest, I don't understand why people are upset about Ultra Sun and Moon because it's not like this hasn't happened before. I mean, look at White 2 and Black 2. No, you see people playing about that. So people seem to have forgotten about that happening. I mean, you can even say the same thing about like Yellow, Crystal, uh, Emerald, Diamond, Pearl. Whatever happened with Diamond, Pearl, unless that one was Crystal, because if that Crystal was with Gold and Silver, then they had Crystal. But I know there's one Diamond, Pearl, and then something, I can't remember what that one is. Young people wanted to have Z, because he had X and Y. And so, maybe this one will be stars, maybe it'll be a new generation, like, what will this be, Gen 8 or something like that? Or maybe it will even be a remake, like a full-on remake of, like, Notre Dame. Like, some people are saying Diamond Pearl. It could be, I mean, yeah, they already had a remake for it, but, a full console remake for, perhaps, say, Red and Blue, or Green, as it's known in Japan. Uh, that would be, pretty big too. Um, but yeah, so we're getting that. So I don't know. I thought they would show Fire Emblem, the Switch version, the new full game, but they didn't. More on Rabbids. I hate the Rabbids. Metroid. Oh my gosh, they delivered on Metroid. I, if you look at any video, any reaction video out there, now I'm normally not like this. I mean, I am normally, calm and collected when I watch announcements and stuff for video games and stuff like that. But when they showed Metroid Prime 4, I was pretty much like those reaction videos. And that filled me up with so much hype. And then not only that, but later they announced Metroid, um, Metroid uh, 2 remake, Return of Samus Returns, basically is what it's called now. And it made sense now as to why they, I mean, of course, between, legal stuff, I guess you could say copyright, uh, why they took down, AM2R or A2MR, what, I don't know what it's called, because they were making a Metroid 2 remake, so that especially makes sense as to why they took it down, because we're making a Metroid 2, so you can't make Metroid 2. You don't know we're making Metroid 2, but you're making Metroid 2. I mean, seriously, that is one of the best kept secrets that Nintendo has had in a long time. I mean, seriously. Normally with these leaks and stuff, a lot of them aren't true. But like, look at Mario and Rabbids. We knew about that stuff before it was happening. I was hoping it wasn't going to happen, but it happened. So there are so many leaks going out there. But Metroid 2, that was a really well kept secret. I give my hands off. This is for you, Nintendo, and you. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to play that game. In fact, I went and pre-ordered the special edition. Now, first they announced the special edition, and um I had to go to work later that day. So I was like, I was like trying. I went to uh I had Amazon and GameStop open, and I kept refreshing the page for both of them, waiting for it to pop up. It popped up, but it was not available for, well, Amazon had, well, neither place had it, and so I know that if I did not get my pre-order before I went to work, that pre-order would go up while I was at work, and it would sell out. And that's exactly what happened. I got back home from work, and it was sold out. And big surprise, I know. But then, like the next day, I went to GameStop's webpage, and I was able to put my pre-order in. And not only that, but I also pre-ordered the Metroid Amiibo double pack with Samus and and a Metroid. So I'm really happy about it. And also the fact that this is happening is also the same time as Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Collector's Edition. I am actually going to have to cancel that order so I can get my Metroid, because the collector's edition, that's pretty that's pretty costly. Um, and this is of course cheaper. It's only $50 compared to like $200. Um, so yeah, I am willing to cancel that, and which I was only getting that the collector's edition just so I can get the Infinity Stones and the statues, those, because those look nice. And I want my Infinity Stones. I want them. I want to get an Infinity Gauntlet. Boom, put them in my Gauntlet. Boom, I've got the Infinity Stones. Boom, I want that. But I am willing to cancel that pre-order for Metroid Special Edition. And I can't even believe that the rumors of two Metroid games coming were actually true, because, I highly doubted that Metroid. Well, I was skeptical about Metroid even coming to E3 in the first place, and that Nintendo even making a Metroid game, especially after Federation Force's failure. Um, but Nintendo listened to us, and not only that, but everyone has something to be happy about, regardless of what type of Metroid fan you are. If you are just a core Prime fan, you have a Prime game coming. If you're an older 2D fan, you have something to be happy for. Everyone can be happy right now. I mean, seriously, and I like both, so I'm doubly happy. Doubly happy. That's just great to me. I am really, really excited about Metroid. Nintendo really made me happy. Square Enix, none of the stuff I even mentioned is happening. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 we knew wasn't going to come. Final Fantasy 7 Remake wasn't going to come. Nier Automata I thought could happen for the Switch, maybe their support. Didn't happen. Thought they could talk about Avengers. Didn't happen. So they talked about other stuff. They talked about that stupid fishing game for Final Fantasy 15. They talked about Lost Sphere, which I thought could happen. They talked about Life is Strange, which, I didn't like the first one. Well, I'm not a fan of that type of game, so I'm not interested in that at all. But the other stuff is just meh stuff, I think, which they presented. Bandai Namco, they showed Code Vein stuff. I'm a bit sad it's not coming to Switch, but I thought I had a feeling that would happen. But it definitely looks great. I think it's a great looking game. They didn't talk about the Tales game coming. Uh, Dragon Ball Fighters or Fighter Z. That looks great. Looks like anime. Like, it looks so clean. It looks so beautiful, and it's definitely gonna be great for hardcore fighting game fans. It's just it just looks great. I like it. It gets a thumbs up for me. Um, yeah, and then I also mentioned before when they talk about Dragonverse 2 complete for the Switch. They didn't have it there, but I saw a clip talking about showing off like motion controls, which can be used for the Switch. Um, I mean, you can also still use traditional controls, but they got that there for people who want to do motion controls. That's fine. I'm not interested in that. They didn't talk about Gundam Versus, and they didn't have any Dark Souls announcement for the Switch. Dark Souls I thought was could be it's a toss up. Didn't toss up the right way, but like I said, it was a toss up. Bethesda, Fallout VR, more VR stuff. I said that we didn't have enough. Skyrim Switch, they did announce Skyrim. It's not the special edition. It's more like the what was it called? The I think Legendary Edition. Like what was released on the Xbox 360 or Xbox 360, PS3. So it has those three expansions for it: Dawn Guard, Dragonborn. I can't remember what the third one was. Hearthfire, I think that was it. So it does have that, and does have some motion controls, but doesn't. It's not strictly based with motion controls, so you can still use your typical gaming. I like that. Of course, I think the motion controls, it's really gonna get tedious very quickly. Um, and also, they can use amiibos to unlock stuff like the Breath of the Wild gear, so you get Master Sword, the Tunic, and Hylian Shield. They also have Skyrim for VR, and here's something that was interesting. You saw Skyrim on the Switch, and there were people complaining, talking about how it's a rehash. Talk about Skyrim for VR, everyone thinks it's great, and it's not like a rehash, and I don't know what to say about that. I mean, it's like, as soon as I guess you could say it's on Nintendo, oh no, it's on VR. This is a genius idea. I don't know. Activision, we got Call of Duty World War II, obviously. We got some gameplay stuff like that. Uh, so yeah, that was there. Uh, Destiny 2 actually was announced. I wasn't sure if it would be there or not. I knew it could be there, but they did end up announcing it. Capcom Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. Great. They they showed stuff for that. Uh, Monster Hunter. That was a big surprise. I was watching the Sony presentation, and when they first started the trailer, I thought that looks familiar. That looks like that can't be. That can't be. I saw the hunter walking around with a very specialized sword. I thought that can't be right. That looks like Monster Hunter, gathering some supplies, but at the same time walking by like stuff and still gathering items. I'm like, no, that can't be. That looks like Monster Hunter gameplay right there. And then camouflage. I was like, what? That's not from Monster Hunter, but it looks like Monster Hunter. Then giant monsters right there. Like, looks kind of like a T-Rex, but looks like it could be Monster Hunter. And the next thing I know, jumping and like slashing attacks and stuff like, whoa, this is Monster Hunter right here. And it is Monster Hunter Worlds right there. Right there. And yeah, it's coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Not Switch. But I think I can understand what Capcom's doing here. What they want to do is make a Monster Hunter game that's for a Western audience while still maintaining what the Japanese love about Monster Hunter, which is double cross. Now, here's the problem though with this. There are still, uh, well, here's not the problem. Well, there's no problem. Here's the thing. Monster Hunter Double Cross, so far right now, has no plans of being localized for the West, or at least the U.S. I don't know about Europe, but at least for the U.S., it's not getting double cross as of now. Or at least has no plans. So those who want that can't get it. Now, me personally, I will import double cross because I want double cross. No, I went bought Japanese version of iamxeracon just because of the fact that they don't have any physical copies here in America. So I have no problem with importing games. In fact, I am going to import Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 for the Switch because I want it. Alright? And so I will import it, have it brought here to America from Japan. No problem. I'm learning Japanese. So I will learn to read the stuff. No problem. And Switch is region free, so which means I can do it. But yeah, so it's not that I have a problem that, Worlds isn't coming to the Switch at all. It's just the fact that, we're not getting a localized version of Double Cross. That's my only gripe with that. Um, Mega Man, I thought it could be there, but it wasn't, so Mega Man's dead, guys. I'm sad. EA Star Wars Battlefront 2, um, yeah, looked pretty good. They have classes, now, the fighting looks good, it looks cool. Only downside, which, what my employee, what my fellow coworkers mentioned was that there it's just like canonically speaking, you wouldn't see Rey fighting Darth Maul, but it can actually happen in the game. So yeah, there's that. I mean, if you're like really based on like timelines and stuff like that, but there are supposed to be I think original characters, storylines and stuff anyway. So there you go. Uh, I can't remember what other stuff they announced, so that's the only thing I can remember. Ubisoft did a lot of stuff. They did Assassin's Creed Origins, which was actually confirmed. It looks great. The only gripe I have with that game is the fact that they have that giant snake at the end of the trailer, and for a game which for the most part, I mean, you could say a lot of it's not, but it's at least believable. That snake part was so unrealistic. I mean, a lot of things so far in the series, I could say, hey, I can have a suspension of belief because it just like it looks like it could have potential to happen. A giant snake is just ridiculous in my opinion. But other than that, looks great. I have no qualms with that at all. Far Cry 5, they had that there. Um, of course, they also showed more rabbits. I don't like rabbits. Yeah, and then, man, I can't believe I couldn't remember the other games they had, but they had other games there too. WB Games, Shadow of Mordor, of course, they had. I am not interested in Shadow of Mordor because I have my reasons with how this is with the books. Like, yeah, I'm not even gonna go there, but yeah, they had that. Of course, they didn't have Batman. Can't remember anything else, but yeah. So E3 was okay. I mean, some of the games I would like, some of the games I, was doesn't. Okay. The games that I like the most, or at least most noteworthy. Oh yeah, and Wolfenstein 2, they have that, and Evil Within 2, and also Shadow of Colossus remake. That's awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome. And awesome. And doubly awesome. And triply awesome. And yeah. And one of my coworkers said that he would buy a PS4 just to get Shadow of Colossus. That's how awesome Shadow of Colossus. No, I've never played Shadow of Colossus, but I know it's an awesome game just by what I've heard and what I've seen. So yeah. And then Castlevania tried to rip it off in Lords of Shadow. Shame on you, Konami. Shame. But yeah, what did I take from this E3 that seems to be the most interesting? Well, here we go. Assassin's Creed Origins. Looks great. I like it. Well, and also, let me put it like this. I'm not going to mention games that we didn't know about or that we didn't know about. So, for example, uh, say a game was announced, before E3. We already knew about it, so therefore it does not count. So, Dragon Ball Assassin's Creed Origins, we didn't know about it, so and I mean it was rumored, but now it's officially confirmed, and it looks great. Looks great. I like it. Dragon Ball Fighter Z, like I said, it looks great. It looks like the actual anime. I like it. Wolfenstein 2 looks pretty good. Looks nice. Evil Within 2 looks great. Monster Hunter World, an improvement on Monster Hunter and what it could become. It's changing. It's getting better. It's improving. Like Breath of the Wild was a big improvement upon the regular standard Zelda formula, and this new installation can take it to new places. Shadow of the Colossus remake. I don't even need to say anything about that. Metroid Prime 4. Oh my gosh, that. And then also I should also add this: Metroid Samus Returns. I am so hyped for these two games that I went back to replay Zero Mission on the Game Boy Advance. I also did on hard mode because normal's too easy for me. And this is a horrible game, but just so I can actually beat it, because I haven't beaten it yet. I even played Metroid Other M, just because I am so hyped for this game that I just really needed like a quick Metroid fix, so to speak. So, so those two games are, you know, booyah. But yeah, oh, and quick tidbits: Minecraft Realms and crossplay between Microsoft and Nintendo. Uh, so you can now like play together, which is a great thing. Only weird thing is that you have to uh, sign in on a Nintendo Switch with a Xbox Live account, just so you can crossplay. which is a bit weird. But I guess it's a necessary thing. Nintendo has no problem with it. Sony didn't like it. Sony was, offered the olive branch to, join in this venture, but they didn't. I'm not sure why they would do something like that. I've heard I've heard speculation from a lot of people, but I don't know why they didn't do it. I'm sure they have their reasons, unless they're just, being stubborn, uh, or on like some sort of high horse. But yeah, I'm not sure why. But that's a very great thing. We're finally starting to do that cross-play thing, and I am surprised that even Nintendo even did this. I had heard about Sony and Microsoft, but Nintendo doing this, wow, this is really a change. I think for the future of gaming, and also I think it's Rocket League is coming to the Switch. No big deal for me. It's just soccer with race cars or monster trucks or whatever. But that has cross-play support as well. So this is a pretty interesting details. Would I say this is the best E3? No, no. A lot of it was stuff which we knew about, or there's stuff that was interesting, but there were curveballs that were thrown at us, like Shadow of Colossus, Monster Hunter World, and two Metroid games. So those four games really stood out and in a sea of mediocrity. But yeah, that's it. This video is excessively long. Maybe I'll split into two parts, maybe I won't. But until next time, everyone, I am iamxeracon signing off. Have a good one. Let me know how you feel about E3 in the comments below. So long.